Social Security has helped people in the North Country retire with dignity for over 70 years. With increasing demands on the system, what plan or plans do you have to ensure the benefits of this program will continue?
Well, thank you, Myra. And I think for people have to understand right now that my mom, she's on Social Security. And I want to make sure that Social Security not only exists but thrives, not for this generation, but for the next generation and generations to come. And the way we have to think about that is, first of all, anyone who's already paid into the system, people who are already receiving benefits, like my mom, that's sacrosanct, that no one's going to get any $1 touched, whether you're using Social Security or you're about to tap into the system. Now, when we look for people who are even younger than myself and say, how do we make sure that, as you correctly said, it's a great program that's served a very, very, very strong purpose ever since it was enacted and signed into law by FDR back in 1935. And that's what the president, Bill's own party, has come together and appointed a bipartisan commission that we hopefully will see the results of some point in December. And at that point in time, and what future Speaker of the House, John Boehner, talks about is having an adult conversation so that people like my mom, 60 years from now, will actually enjoy the fruits and the benefit of their hard work, and to make sure that there is a thing called Social Security coming to them in the future. And so at that point in time, we have to make sure that all options are available, but most importantly, to make sure that people understand that privatization is not the answer, but on top of that, that people who are already getting benefits, who already paid in this system, who expect that and are planning on it, they will get every dollar that they're entitled to. And as your congressman, I promise to make sure that happens.
Mr. Doheny, thank you very much. Mr. Owens, minute 30.
Yes. First of all, let me make it very clear that I'm against privatization of Social Security. If we look back over the history of the last 10 years alone, the impact on recipients would have been dramatic. More than 50% of their benefits would have been lost if there had been privatization. And that applies whether it's someone currently receiving benefits or someone who might receive benefits in the future. My opponent has, on a regular basis, said he was in support of privatization. He's recently decided that privatization is not a good idea, but I can tell you his party clearly supports that idea, and recently President Bush said that was his greatest failure. That is not accomplishing the privatization of Social Security. Clearly, the best way for us to make Social Security sound is to put people back to work so that they're contributing to the system. That's something that I've worked very hard at and will continue to work very hard at. I also think it's very important for people to understand that the President's Commission is a bipartisan commission. They're anticipating making recommendations in early December of this year. I think we're going to need to look at those very carefully and analyze the situation on a fact basis, not on a scare and threat basis. Thank you.
Mr. Owens, thank you. Mr. Doheny, 30 seconds.
And I couldn't agree more with Bill. Unfortunately, his own word come back to haunt him. He keeps trying to scare people and attack me on a personal basis with the ads that are just flat out false. You heard my position on Social Security. But you want to make sure that we as a country continue to grow strong. We have to get rid of people like Nancy Pelosi and Bill Owens because of the outlandish spending. Right now, we have almost a $13.6 trillion deficit. Right now, the president's own budget, without altering, has on average $1 trillion deficit each year. We have to change the leadership of Washington. We have to make sure Bill Owens stays right here at home and get rid of Nancy Pelosi.
Mr. Doheny, thank you. Mr. Owens, 30 seconds.
Well, I think we need to point out that when the Republicans were in charge for a period of 8 years, the deficit increased dramatically and, in fact, wiped out a budget surplus that President Clinton left President Bush with when he left office. There is no indication that the Republicans have any type of a plan to effectively and rationally cut the federal budget and therefore the deficit and the debt.